Language for meetings. Language plays a very important part in any meeting. It refers to the traditional language forms, which are the grammar, which are vocabulary, and the pronunciation. These are the traditional language forms which need to be used correctly for the success of any meeting. The correct use of this is important with the proper degree of formality according to what type of a meeting is it, whether it is a formal meeting or an informal meeting. In meeting, people communicate for various purposes. It is a speech situation, therefore all sorts of communication is exchanged and passed. So there could be information would be passed, and then there would be communication for persuading other people. It could be for justifying your own stance or your own stand and your own point of view. It could be language would be used for arguing for your own point of view, and then it could be for clarifying your position, and then it could be for summarizing the whole proceeding of whatever has passed in the meeting. So the language which our learners require would have to cover all of these different speech situations which occur during a meeting. So the objectives for teaching for language teachers are to cover the linguistic elements which are there in the meetings, and also the procedural elements. So procedures would be different for the different participants. For example, for the chairperson, it would be opening the meeting, welcoming the participants, apologizing if there is a delay, stating the objectives, closing the meeting with appropriate words, summarizing the whole proceedings, and then setting the date and the time for the next meeting, setting the agenda for the next meeting. For the participants, the procedures would be giving oral presentations, giving their own personal opinion, agreeing or disagreeing, advising, suggesting, asking for information, and for clarification. For the secretaries who are also part of the meetings, the procedure would be to record the names of those who are present, the names of those who are absent, or those the points which were discussed, agendas, and what was carried forward from the previous meeting, and the time and the date for the next meeting. So the linguistic elements which are required for all of these procedures could either be mechanical, which are standard lexical phrases, for example, lexical, and these could be learned very easily by the lower level learners as well as the higher level learners. Then there could be other procedures involving linguistic elements like summarizing, which would be for the higher level learners because they require higher learning skills. In formal meetings, we find that there is a varied type of language which is required. There are certain lexical items which are quite common, which are standard used by everyone in each and every situation. For example, has everyone got a copy of the minutes, or moving on to the next item, 3 on the agenda. So these are the things which can be learned very easily, and these are standard lexical items. Then the common functions in meetings include clarification situations in which you have to clarify a certain situation. For example, so what you are saying is, or that isn't exactly what I mean, or do you mean? Things like when you are clarifying from somebody your own their position or your own position. And then summarizing is also one of the functions in which you which occurs at the end of the meeting, and you can use words like can we just recap, or let me just go over that again. Research shows that the key language items which are used in meetings are words like okay. And here, okay would mean, do you agree in one sense, and then it would mean, okay, in another sense, it would mean, I agree. Then the use of the word about when we want to talk about a particular topic. So you don't have to really use words which are unnatural sounding words. Usually the course books give out words which might be appropriate linguistically, but functionally they do not fit the situation. So such type of convoluted and labored language is to be avoided when you are giving practice to your learners. It should be more natural. Conversational elements should be included, because we have to keep in mind that in meetings we are not reading out, but we are actually carrying out a conversation with the other participants. So teaching of the language of meetings can be done best through role plays and simulations, which actually come very near to the language which the learners will be using in their real jobs. And the language which is used in the normal situations when they would be entering their jobs and participating in meetings themselves.